2-minute warning. What's good? We're here with a special on a Saturday. I know it's not weird. We're not on a hump day and we're live. So we're going to be talking something groundbreaking. I know Tim's got to get some stuff off his chest. We got Dooley here. We got myself. We're going to be playing a little good cop, bad cop type thing. And we're going to be talking Ezekiel Elliott, 6-game suspension. So Timmy boy, how are you feeling about this?
Woo! It's not good. Oh, it's not good. Well, first I want to say this. Before I comment about anything with domestic violence, just put it out there. I'm against it. I'm not for it, and hopefully the ones who are going through it, you get that taken care of. That's all I want to say. But it's not good to drink. So they announced it about 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday. So, it's not good to drink. It's not good so early in the morning with some egg whites and waffles and there's some more liquor. It's just bad. Just not a good feeling. It just, not good.
Okay.
Good about it.
So I know it's a lengthy suspension because I see you were talking a lot about bringing up, not just you, it was Cowboy Nation in general, referring to Ray Rice or Josh Brown, or how come you guys never brought up Greg Hardy as an example? I'm just curious about that.
You know what? All right, here's the thing. When it came down to Greg Hardy, his situation, he was suspended with the Carolina Panthers, right? To take care of the whole situation for the whole season. After that, once they went to court, regardless of the fact, we all know he was found innocent. The NFL did their own investigation. Now, I'm gonna keep it real. If I see a case, and I see a case where he's real innocent because she didn't show up, okay. I mean, listen, she didn't show up. So what happened? She had somebody called her. She had to go do her hair? No, meaning they probably paid her off. So I'm gonna say, you know what? Listen, but I'm gonna suspend you anyway. Why? Because you went to civil court, you went to criminal court, and X, Y, and Z. The Josh Brown situation. Now, I'm glad you brought up Josh.
Right.
To everybody. In one of the journal entries, Brown wrote that he has physically, mentally, emotionally, and verbally been a repulsive man. Several sentences later, he said that he abused his wife. He also detailed his arrogant and manipulative thinking and progressiveness. In another journal entry, Brown wrote that his wife filed for divorce because he was abusive. He listed losing his marriage and living with the reputation of an abuser as fear of his. The Giants re-signed Brown during the offseason to a 2-year, $4 million deal. The team has supported him despite allegations with the Giants. Co-owner John Maris saying in August, circumstances, and we were comfortable
Right.
with our decision to re-sign him. So in that case, you knew what happened. You heard. He told you what happened. That's okay, Josh. Here, we're gonna give you $4 million.
Not that I agree with it, but did you read anything in that paragraph or that entry that said, was there physical abuse from Josh Brown?
Okay, yeah, it was. It
verbal.
Yeah,
it was
words.
It was probably being abrupt. Right.
No, he said physically
not that
abusive.
I agree with it. Not that I'm saying it's okay because he never laid hands on her, but I think there is a big difference when you're talking about physically assaulting somebody and then being abusive verbally or being type of an alpha male or whatever he might have been doing in that relationship. And
in the first,
I think he was in place where he was getting help. And that journal entry was his kind of like his therapy in a sense from the therapist that he was seeing or the doctor or psychiatrist. So that's why I don't understand why Cowboys fans bring up that comparison. And let it be known, Josh Brown was released in October of 2016. He didn't even finish out the season. It doesn't matter if he got just one game. He's not even on an NFL roster now. But Zeke is going to be fine after however many games he gets. You guys aren't going to touch him at all.
But here's the thing, John. It does says physically and mentally abused her. Now, another thing also, there was also reports that he abused her at the Pro Bowl, where the NFL security had to separate him from the hotel and move him to another location. So you're telling me NFL security knows about this and not Roger Goodell? My thing is this. If we all know the Ray Rice situation where it was an ugly incident, they thought that it was nothing before the video came out. And once the video, I know, remember Dudley said plenty of times, you want to put the ice in the cake before something else is shown from the public to make it look bad. And that's what happened with Ray Rice. But if you're going to set the tone should have been set with Josh Brown, only because the thing would happen once the public found out what Josh Brown did, he was on the Giants released upon him. Just imagine if this was like a top player like Odell Beckham Jr., Brandon Marshall, a meaningful player, not a kicker, not a punter. Replaceable. A star player is not replaceable. So the tone should have been set where, okay, you've released them, you try to take the easy way out, but what we're gonna do now is, because you hid this, you still paid the man after you knew what happened, a penalty. Whatever it is, not a draft pick, some harsh penalty. The tone is set on Ezekiel Elliott where, come on, the reports are saying that first, the girl's best friend also said those bruises and those marks was from a club. She had a fight with somebody in the club. When you get domestic violence, if you're getting beat up and you're afforded medical attention, how could you say no? I don't go to the doctor. I don't know. None of that.
Tim, let me stop you there. It happens all the time, bro. It really does.
All right, but the whole thing still remains that her best friend also, as a witness, said none of the altercation ever happened between her and Ezekiel in the vehicle are from the club. She even sent a text message to Zeke saying she's gonna set him up. Oh, and telling her girlfriend, listen, when they ask you this, I want you to say that. Now, here's the thing. The NFL wants to make a point how they care about domestic violence. I understand that. I totally understand that. But you punish this man, the Ray Rice situation, clearly the only victim I see in this case is him, because she admitted it, saying she's gonna set him up. Now, I understand the maturity factor. Him putting that girl's bra down, showing her breast, but even though that was his friend for the evening, whatever they doing, you as a grown man, you representing the Shield, you got to be accountable for that. I can understand the maturity. But again, is that abusive? No. That's something where I'm going to find you for what you're doing, not suspend you for 6 games. But Josh Brown gets 1 game suspension and gets the easy way I get cut out the league, and he walks out the league as a millionaire.
So I think you're just more upset at the fact that Zeke is the one that's being made the example of in the league for setting forth this new tone on domestic violence.
But wait a second though. Zeke isn't. Ray Rice was. This is who started all of this. Ray Rice is no longer in the NFL. So no one's making an example of Ezekiel Elliott. Here's the problem with Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke Elliott is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Had this been some other miscellaneous crime, it wouldn't be a 6-game suspension, right? Let's go back, because there's a precedent set. It was like, oh, now you're setting a precedent. No, this is set a long time ago. This is set with Big Ben. Big Ben was accused of rape, correct? Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Was he ever found guilty?
No.
He got 4 games.
4 games. He got 6 games. He appealed down to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But he got 6 games to start. And going back to Ezekiel, see, here's my problem. Here's my first problem. I have a lot of problems with this, by the way, and I'll get into all those. My first problem is Cowboys fans are pulling out players out of thin air to make these comparisons to, instead of just owning up to the problem with own up to the problem with your current player. So it's like, oh, Tyreek Hill. That happened when Tyreek Hill was in college and he was dealt with at Oklahoma State. Joe Mixon was dealt with at Oklahoma.
Agreed. Right.
Josh Brown dealt with. Greg Hardy dealt with.
Right.
In fact, you signed him later after you got quote unquote dealt with. Right.
That's true.
You act as if Here's the thing. I will give you that the NFL has been inconsistent with this. They really have. And that they screwed the pooch in some cases. In fact, I was doing a little research, and DV in the NFL isn't new. If you go back to like 2008, 2009, hell, you had a guy in 2012 of the Chiefs, Jovan Belcher, he killed his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's like the quintessential domestic abuse. And he killed himself in turn, but this isn't new. And back then, a lot of people were getting slaps on the wrist in diversion programs. Zeke is in the wrong place, wrong time, to be honest. If this were 4 years ago, this wouldn't be a 6-game suspension. It'd be a 1 or 2 game suspension, like prior. As far as what you say about the lying and all of that, from what I understood from the letter said that, you know, they uncovered other evidence that was destroyed. Now, here are 2 scenarios. Either the NFL is fibbing to make themselves, you know, not look like complete idiots here, or the Columbus PD did a really bad job on this. And the Columbus PD,
and the fallout deal too.
Okay, exactly. Now the thing about that is it really inexcusable to think that the Columbus PD screwed the pooch? No, it's not, because Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio State, you know, he pretty much carried them to the national title. Yes, it's happened before where people have gotten off. Are there a lot of inconsistencies from everybody here? Yeah. That's the problem. Not at no point was anyone that was involved, whether it be Zeke, whether it be his girlfriend, whether it be her friends, none of them were really consistent with their stories. 1 minute he beat her ass, the next minute, oh no, it didn't really happen like that. That was from fights from a club.
Man,
no one's been consistent here. But that's the thing. The story's changed, Tim.
But whose story has changed? But my thing is this. My thing, Della, is I want to go back with the Kelvin Beltran. You know, God bless their family. That happened in 1 day.
Right.
Told her, he killed himself. Right. Just to clarify that. Now, the thing is, when it comes to the Ezekiel Elliott thing, when you have the one piece of evidence, is a text message saying, "I'm trying to set him up." That's the main thing. That should be, you know what? I can't trust a word you're saying because you're doing harm to this man. And my thing is this: her best friend to come out and say now, he never touched her. All right. The text message here is saying, listen, I need you to say this. I need you to say that. That's enough right there for to say that she's lying. What the NFL is trying to show, and I'm going to say it again, domestic violence for the real victims, is a problem. This line here not only hurts a male, but it hurts the real victims out there who are scared to come up and complain about it.
At the same time, it was also, you know, in part of their whole evidence that they uncovered or whatever, part of that evidence was that there were pictures sent to this aunt, this family member, that said abusive or abuse or something like that. So that's the thing, Tim. When you have that and you you compare that to those text messages that said, "Oh, the whole setup," I mean, there's your inconsistency. Is it true? Is it? So here's the thing: is she lying, or is she lying to cover up the fact that she's being abused? What do they call it? Battered woman syndrome. That's what it's called. Which one is it? No one seems to know. No one can seem to prove it. All the Columbus PD, that's why they're like, listen, from what it looks like, this may be this may be bogus. Let's let it go. I am curious as to what the NFL has uncovered with their own private investigators. They had to have uncovered something outside of the evidence. And if they did, I would hope they turn this over to the Columbus PD. I would hope.
Otherwise, may I be Sam?
Sure.
Go ahead, Della. The Columbus prosecutor's office, as well as the NFL investigators, expressly concluded and conveyed to our office and the others that the accuser was lying about an alleged July 22nd, 2016 incident whereby she accused Mr. Elliott of pulling her out the car and assaulting her. an allegation that was ultimately undermined by her own friend's affidavit, which stated that no such assault occurred. The affidavit also outlined the accuser's plan to orchestrate a story to police in order to collaborate her false allegation of assault. In addition, the NFL's own medical expert concluded that many of her injuries predated the week in question and likely occurred during a period of time where Mr. Elliott was not contacted with the accuser. During the upcoming weeks and through the appeal, a slew of additional credible and controversial evidence will come to light. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to medical, there's a difference between an injury that looks kind of fresh and an injury that's kind of old. You're telling me that from July, December, we stood right there like, hey, what up? I'm still here chilling in the body. I don't think so. This is medical. You can't. So medical is the key point to the whole investigation. If the medical come out and say that's fresh, is in training camp. What is that? Now I understand the NFL's pod. I understand the NFL. They want to show they care about domestic violence. But if you want to show you care, stop letting people get by like fucking Mara when he hit the shit in front of you. And the easiest thing was, okay, he's released. Okay, we get a 1-game suspension. But meanwhile, we got a victim with at the NFL Pro Bowl. Wow. So we let that go. Oh, I can't take this no more. We gotta show an example of somebody. Hey, Zeke, 6 games. Okay, is that fair? No, it's not fair. But what should happen now, in my opinion, he's gonna take him to court. He's depending how many games they're gonna settle for. They don't want the court. Maybe go to 6. Maybe go to 1 or 2 games. From Della, and I agree with you. The maturity, that brother, I agree with you. Him hanging out, the people you with. This should teach him. This should teach him how much you're being looked at. I
just want to add one thing. You get on this show and you rip and run about Odell Beckham Jr. and how he's just an immature character. Well, Zeke, that's funny. Zeke not only is immature, apparently he's destructive as well.
Well, no. How about
what
this?
Are you doing?
I give you a better one, Della. Here's the thing. I only trust Odell Beckham Jr. because he's a New York Giant. But here's the thing. Odell Beckham, if one thing I can admit and say was Zeke, Odell Beckham Jr., he's hanging out with stars who are more in line to be in trouble. Whether Odell is hanging out, Ezekiel Elliott is hanging out with regular common folks. But the difference is that it is a problem. If you're in the club, my thing is this: the same thing can happen with Odell Beckham Jr. He could be in the club somewhere. Somebody hits a fight. Oh, he's having a latte with his pinky up like this. The fight in the corner. Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. was in the club and the alleged incident happened by him. But it's the same thing. But I would give Odell, he's never been in trouble. Never been in trouble at all. And I can say this, Ezekiel Elliott, maybe you should take a note from Odell and other players out there. You can't hang with everybody. You don't be at a bar. Be around close family and friends. Be around people. Be around people you know that can control themselves when they're drinking. I understand that.
Let me revisit one thing, though. You talked about the legality. You talked about that specific incident, right?
Right.
From what I'm reading, again, I'm just reading into the letter. I'm reading to other sources. They're alleging that there were multiple incidences, and that one incident, yes, looks like a lie, but they're outlining other incidences here. In that week, there were 4 or 5 instances of some sort of abuse, right? You can negate one, but what about the other 4?
Say it again.
So we have this negation of one, right? The text messages, all of that. There are 4 other incidents. There are 4 other alleged instances of potential violence or whatever.
Does it really go into detail, or does it just list like dates that it might have happened, or they got like a report on it?
Yeah, it just gives a range of dates. It's just, we know about that one. We definitely know about the text messages on, what was that, the 22nd, that one, about being dragged out the car and how that was probably fabricated. Again, I could be wrong. It seems as if they have some corroboration of those other instances may being true.
Right.
Now, let's talk about, because there was some other interesting language in that letter that was sent to Zeke. So they give him the 6 games. They also say that, listen, if you get in any more trouble, you may see a bigger punishment. You may see banishment from the NFL. Pretty strong language to give to a guy, don't you think?
Well, that's because
yeah.
No, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's his first. I wouldn't say first time in trouble, but I mean, in the NFL, I would say you kind of have a clean slate, and then you kind of build your reputation. And when you're in the league, you don't. I wouldn't say you kind of judge a guy from his NCAA reputation. Like, for example, LeGarrette Blount, if he were to do something in the league, I don't think you judge him based on what he might have done at Oregon or outside of that. You know, he's in the league now. It's a new entity. It's a new league, new LLC that he's in, whatever you want to call it, new business. So he starts fresh. He's got a fresh reputation. If he does something from there, okay. Now we start judging him on, you know, is he dwindling in character, personality, et cetera, et cetera. But with Zeke, yeah, exactly. I am surprised, Dula, at that language. Banishment already in his he's only played 16, 17 games.
And you know what?
Shit, that's harsh.
It's also this the last time I've heard language like that was with Pac-Man Jones.
And Pac-Man has been through it all, and it's taken a decade for Pac-Man to get a letter like that.
But see, you understand, mind you, he only got 1 game suspension too. Just want to add that up. 1 game suspension this year. Another one. Just 1 game. But I want to add on. Okay, when the NFL, and don't get me wrong, I get it, because they are probably NFL players who do abuse women. And yes, you should be having the word banishment. If you got a penalty, if you got the penalty, you gotta set the tone. The penalty is a 6-game suspension. The tone is you get caught again, you're banished. Now the thing is, when you appeal it, his story. The NFL did say he came up to New York, operation, gave his phone and everything. Now, I want to read you guys who got Sprint out there. Today's Saturday from 5 to 9 is free. So I'm gonna read you the text message that was given to him. Okay, at one side I'm gonna play Jan, and one side I'm gonna play Marshall. Jan and Marshall. So Jan says, "Do you want me to lie about what happened that night? Because Zeke's lawyer is about to call me again. Hurry, text me." That was Jan. Here comes Marshall. Huh? Call me. What? Him pulling you out the car by your wrist? Call me. I'm on the phone now, so hurry. All right. Now here comes Jan again. Here comes Marshall. Come get me from the lobby. If they ask me, if they ask me, he dragged me out my car. Here comes Jan. Okay, just now. Here comes Marshall. When we got here, like we pulled up and showed up, and then he yanked me out if the police ask. Get up here. Oh, here comes Jan. Where are you? Here comes Marshall. Sitting up on the side of the road. Where are you? I mean, my God. Here's the thing. Here's the thing now. And again, I'm not before you got to the NFL, we can no longer go back and say, listen, you know why? Because those are the things that come to light while you get drafted. People do their homework on you. X, Y, and Z. You get drafted July 22nd. Now, again, and I'm not saying domestic violence condoned before you get. Domestic violence should not be condoned at any level. But what I'm trying to say is, Della, you name a lot of players who had issues before they got drafted. Hey, we got one young man at the Bengals right now. But what he went through on video, and he's been going through that for 2 years. The NFL can't do anything to him now.
Tim.
And that's on video.
Tim, this happened in July. This happened in July of 2016. Ezekiel Elliott was a member of the Dallas Cowboys in July 2016.
No, I'm not saying no. This incident wasn't a Cowboy.
But I was saying how many years ago, and he's been a model student pretty much ever since.
Yeah.
What I was saying, what Cadella earlier said, that there's been many issues before this last issue. So
Right.
those issues was when he was in college. Now, in July, he was an NFL player. But my thing, he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. Understood. But the thing is, when you see back and forth text messages of trying to set the man up, then the person you, I mean, come on.
I get that, but the multiple incidents is what sparks it. Like Dula said earlier, it's those other 4 or 5 freaking times. The one botched text message convo that the public sees. Okay, we can scrutinize that. We can have fun with this one little iPhone FaceTime convo, but these 5 lingering, there's a lot of question marks in those incidents that the public does not know. And holy hell, what if one of those actually just surfaced to the public? What if one of those is a dynamite? You never know, and that could be what he's getting spanked for with the 6 games.
Well, exactly.
Obviously, he's going to appeal because it's his first time. That's probably why they put down 6, because they want him more to face 4. Now, Tim, let me also bring up another subject that I've been thinking about while you guys have been going back and forth. What do you feel somebody like Josh Gordon's situation? Yes, they're both breaking the conduct policy, which is what they were getting suspended for. But do you think Josh Gordon is sitting at home like, holy shit, I'm getting suspended for rolling up a piece of leaf, but this guy's punching everybody in the face that he meets out on the weekends, and he's getting 4, and he's still going to be
I'll tell you what, Josh Gordon, Alden Smith, Justin Blackman, all these guys.
Well, and what about the women? What about, Tim, if you were sitting in a room full of women right now, some that may have been victims of violence, what if you were sitting here in that room full of women right now, and you were on Fury right now, and you had to do your conference with us right now in the room, and you were saying 6 games? I mean, listen, Josh Brown only got 1, and how do you feel? You know, you would be looked at comparing incidents of domestic violence to others.
Absolutely.
Do you think the women would give a damn about 6 games?
And I want to add on, sometimes, and I apologize that if I kind of show the wrong side, I tend to speak kind of fast, but I wasn't trying to compare the 2 incidents. An incident is an incident. I feel if you get caught beating on a woman, you shouldn't play a down of football at all. I'm for that. And, you know, I myself have been around, you know, I've talked to victims of domestic violence, and I've also talked to guys who were accused of it who never did anything. And it's a sad thing. When you combine the 2, you having the ones who are calling for them, who are lying, that hurts the person you're lying on, and the victim who has no courage to come out, who's facing domestic violence. My thing is this: in this world, for the ones who are lying, I give you a perfect example. Marshawn Lynch, a couple of years ago, a female got raped in a Seattle hotel. She said her boyfriend had dreads. Oh, it was Marshawn Lynch. Came out. So they questioned him. Thank God he had proof that he was on another side of town in a different hotel. So when the police department in Seattle questioned her, you see, here's my thing. You're drunk. You saw Marshawn Lynch? No, sweetheart. You was trying to lie on the man, because that's a new thing coming out. Some would lie to get that money. I think the females who are actually lying, or male in domestic violence, should be punished regardless.
Right. That's more of a PSA of trying to tell people you should always document where you're going, and you should probably turn your location services on so you can document your life and where you're going, and always have cover your ass. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
But my thing is this: when the NFL medical has saw her physically, they saw that those wounds are fresh. That's medical. None of us are doctors. Not even Bill Cosby, Dr. He could Huxtable himself could do that. And I'm gonna say like that. Joe, listen, I understand. When you see a setup that's happening and you have medical, and they mind you now, the NFL, if the NFL said, listen, we don't care what the Columbus, Ohio Police Department or the Fort Lauderdale Police Department and say, we want to do our own investigation. Well, duh. You mean to tell me you're seeing marks and the doctor is telling you those marks are fresh?
I hear you. I know. I get exactly where you're coming from because I can put myself in your shoes, Tim. If it was my player, I understand all your argument points right now. I absolutely do. But are you? I guess what I'm coming at more is: are you more upset at the NFL that they're making an example out of Zeke, or are you mad that they're giving him 6 rather than it being like 3 or 2?
I'm more mad. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Cowboy fans who been like I'm about to say. As a man, and what I saw growing up. I'm more mad how the NFL handled this. I still okay. I'm going with Dulles' side. I'm going on Dulles' side for what he said, the other stuff that he did, putting the girl's bra down. You even though you might not hit the dude in the bar, you at that bar too much. Even though video of the guy knocked out doesn't show that you hit him.
I get it. Yeah, representation.
A little thing. I think a program, getting fined. If you want to give us a 2-game suspension to show something, listen, I don't mind that. I just think that right now with this, with the investigation going on, it's right in the face of saying this man didn't do anything, and you're going this route. You're trying. It's like you're trying to more prove a point than anything else, and I just think that all fair. Okay,
so what do you think he deserves?
Be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it real. I think maybe just 1 game and some counseling, only because the off the field stuff. Listen, you're going to a
but you always preach that the Cowboys organization is good, babysitters got good wings,
mental.
So
mental.
Isn't that counseling already? Just being in the organization.
I'll tell you this.
It doesn't seem like it's working if that's what counseling is, though. Being in
listen. You got to ask how many of us in 2MW, if we end up hitting the lotto, how behaved are we going to be acting? We may not be behaving. We all may just say, light it up.
We can sit here and question everybody's character when they run into something all night. Absolutely.
But
see, here's the thing about that. Even by all accounts, going back to his time at Ohio State, he's from St. Louis. Zeke is from St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
2-parent household, great kid, great family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Was ambassador.
Say what?
Great leader. His mother's ambassador.
Right. So it's kind of like, wait a second. 2-parent household let me take that back. He was said by a lot to be a model citizen at Ohio State. Apparently there were reports of some teammates like Joey Bosa, for example, kind of stopped hanging around the guy because they could kind of see that he might get him into some crap. I don't know how true that is. That could be hearsay. It could very well be hearsay.
I could believe that, Della. I could believe you in that.
I also heard rumors that he just thought he was an alpha male type. His shit didn't stink, arrogant.
Yeah, and listen, go back to that 3-game stretch when Ohio State beat Wisconsin, beat Alabama. When the first national Ezekiel Elliott was
national. Yeah,
he was averaging like 200 yards rushing per game. He was
ridiculous,
tearing people up. Him and Cardell Jones tearing everyone up.
Yep.
And brought a national title to Ohio State. Yes, I'm sure his popularity skyrocketed.
Right.
In that town, across the board. And although they didn't get back to the national title, the following year, he was still a celebrity. He was still wrecking shop.
Yeah.
And that's why I go back to Columbus PD. For all I know, and I'm not saying this is what happened. Well, all I know, they said, listen, there's no way we can dump on this kid. He's a good kid. He may be caught up in some stuff. Let's go the route of let's not put a guy with a bright future in jail. Do I agree with that? No. I think that sets a horrible precedent. But that could be the case. It could be the case, again, that the NFL is trying to cover up for the Ray Rice thing, and they finally got it right. And they finally found someone like, this guy here is enough on him to where if we suspend him for 6 games, we can say at least he had it coming.
You know what, Della? And to piggyback on what you were saying, I agree with you too. Because the one report that I read a long time ago Where's Joey Bosa when they got in trouble for I believe he was smoking. Asked not to room Elliott.
Right.
Now, I'm coming out straight up with that. Now, you know, I read that. That tells me, and you know, I listen to a lot of the podcasts, and a lot of people have said that if the party's jumping, he has to go in there and say who he is. He's a good kid. He's a party guy. He loves to party. But it's like leaving Columbus, Ohio to the NFL, he was Superman, and now he's Clark Kent. Batman. Basically, you're vulnerable to get hit anywhere. You're not the Man of Steel no more. I think this right here should, you know, give him better decision making going forward. I don't mean by him abusing females. I mean just the overall thing. When it's the off season, who you choose to hang with, who you be with, what type of clubs you're gonna go to, because now he's gonna be a target. From outside, people are like, oh, it could be a male, female, whoever. Yo, I'm gonna hang out with him and say X, Y, and Z. He has to now choose who to chill with, because this can happen again. And now what the NFL to me is showing is zero policy. You're replaceable. Now, this is not something where this is like the Cleveland Browns or the Buffalo Bills. They probably would have cut him. But you're playing for a top organization from the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Listen, you got him speaking up for you. You best not bite the hand that feeds you. Forward, don't get me wrong. You know, those things, the hanging out, the club scenes, this should teach him. But I still don't think this. My thing when you're investigating, I just get those key pieces. Medical, the text message setting him up. Those are the things that NFL should look at even more to say, you know what? Here, instead, what you did was, or basically, listen, I recalled them asking him a question. Check this out, Josh. How was it if you never hit nobody, you never touched nobody? Well, sir, can you explain how she got these bruises? I don't know. Right. How you know if you didn't do anything? What's the answer to do? What's the answer?
All right, I'll give you that. Let me pivot this to some other implications. Right, here's what I want to look at. I want to look at this as okay. We know. Let's talk about what happens from here. He got the 6 games. He's gonna appeal.
Right.
And you know a lot of things. Maybe they appeal it down to 4 or 3 or 2 or whatever. I don't think they will. I think they'll stick with the 6. Do you think Jerry Jones is willing to take this to court?
Yes.
Yes,
he is.
All right, so
I can't recall. Did Kraft take Adele to court over the Tom Brady cell phone thing? I can't recall.
Yes, but it was more like he violated CBA rules. More of the CBA rules.
So to that end, is it worth Jerry's time to fight this in court, or is it better off to let Zeke sit his 6 games and call it a day?
That's another thing too with the CBA. It's like these players had this lining up for them when they sat down for weeks upon weeks and agreed and signed the damn paper giving Goodell all this power. And now
I'm sure they'll think twice about this in the next negotiations.
2020, I think it comes up.
Yeah, I think they'll think twice about this.
Yeah. He's out of there. He won't be there.
Yeah, Tim, what was your answer though? Sorry, before I got into the CBA talk.
Well, here's my thing. He is gonna fight it. I think what's gonna happen. This is my opinion why this is gonna happen, because once he appeals it by next week, now you gotta set a court date. The NFL does not want to spend money and go to Supreme Court with this. They don't. So normally what they'll try to do is they'll try to go to the negotiation table and say, okay, we gotta negotiate it. Now here's the thing. We're playing the New York Giants week 1. I'm kind of wishing we was playing week 5. You know why? Because maybe these games make it down to 2, get a big fine. It is what it is. Because the Giants are playing week 1, James gonna fight harder. He's gonna fight harder. Now, the scenario that can happen is this, in my opinion. Let's just say they appeal, they go to court. Zeke could play week 1. Now, how fast does the court respond to this? And they say they favor in the NFL. Let's just say week 5 and week 6.
Well, that's the thing, because wasn't Tom Brady's suspension handed down in like February, and now Zeke's is coming here in the first week of preseason. I don't think the Colts are going to work fast enough.
Yeah,
they're not.
So,
even if they work as fast as they can, what's it going to be? It's still a 3-game ban, and they'll say, okay, well, we're at week 3 of the regular season. We'll just say it's lifted now.
So here's what Zeke can do. Zeke can go to the courts and set a court date, and if it isn't, he could file an emergency motion to put an injunction to this. Would it be successful? I'm not sure. I feel like here's the thing. Here's why I wouldn't fight it. I feel like if you fight it, you're delaying the inevitable.
Right.
Here's the thing. The NFL doesn't lose in court. They haven't. They didn't lose with Adrian Peterson. They didn't lose with Tom Brady. They haven't lost. And they're not going to lose here, especially. Because, frankly, you're getting into an argument of what a private organization does with their employees based on some CBA. Right. You're getting into a matter of, is the CBA valid? That's hard for anyone to dispute. What it would do is this. It would stall. It would get them on the field and install the suspension. And listen, Jerry Jones, like Al Davis, God bless his soul, has enough currency and enough time in the NFL to, fight this. He has money. He got plenty of money. I'm sure he has no issue, and he has gone to the court with the NFL before, and he kind of won. He was, I know a while back there was some branding issues with Pepsi versus Coke and the naming and being sponsors of the stadium. He kind of sort of won that. They settled out of court, right? So we'll call that a win. I don't see the NFL. The NFL is looking at this like, okay, take us to court. You're not going to win. And all you're doing is, delaying the inevitable. And again, the last time I think somebody won in federal court was maybe who was, I think, Richard Sherman, or no, it was Kevin and Pat Williams with the whole Star Caps thing with the supplement or whatever. That's the last time anyone's won.
I don't even know that. That's funny.
It's not worth their while. You might as well just take whatever ban is and call it a day and say, listen, Zeke, understand that if you get into any other trouble, these fools can banish you from the NFL. Like, cut it all off altogether. You're not playing professional football at all. You're done.
And I think this could be a historical part of the league. Like, I think we'll look back and say, shit, 2017 was the year Zeke was that player way back in the day that was pretty much, the NFL is putting their foot down. They're saying no more BS. If you want to act like this way, or if you want to commit this kind of erroneous act, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be swift, and it's going to be impactful right away. You're not going to get any first-time considerations. Hey, we may get a 30 for 30 on this shit in the future. You never know. It's definitely something to talk about. It's big in the NFL for sure, especially Dula talking about the banishment. You never hear that word, the banishment from the NFL, unless it's something seriously critical.
Also, I want to bring
look at it this way. Dante Stallworth killed someone.
Yes,
was banished from the NFL.
And he was back with the Ravens afterward for a year, right?
After a year suspension, he was back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Vick, lied to the feds.
Yeah.
Right? He was back.
Nah.
Yeah, so sorry, go ahead.
No, go down.
No, I was gonna say, along with the legal slant too, it also depends on where they would file this at. They could file it in Ohio, they could file it in Florida, they could file this in Southern New York, where the NFL, is located. Going back to Tom Brady, he filed in Minnesota, hoping to get a favorable judge, and it didn't work out. So timing matters, where they file matters, and who the judges matters.
True.
But you know what's crazy too? The female who did the investigation, I forgot her name, but of course she's a diehard Giant fan. But there was also reports that
there were 4 of them. There were 4 investigators though, not one, but 4.
No. I understand, but she's the main one. She's the main one behind Goodell since 2014.
And somebody finds that out, and it becomes somebody has to make an article about it.
Right.
All right. So, but the thing with that was that pretty much got me was that during the owners meeting, I was there with the owners meeting, and her and Jerry Jones got into it. And basically, Jerry Jones asked him, "How come this is still going on? It's been a year." And so they both had words. And so I'm like, and then there was other reports saying that was calling Roger Goodell to get this man suspended because Jerry Jones was the one who got the Raiders to go to Vegas. So it's like a personal agenda. How all the other owners who did it, who voted against it, was calling Roger Goodell X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, and then then some people was like, the Cowboys players don't get in trouble. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We have so far, what, 5, 6 suspensions already? I mean, Randy Gregory, my God. Listen,
you're still sitting on Randy Gregory, first of all. You drafted Jordan Lewis, which really blew my mind. Why would you draft a guy who is...
Now, wait a minute now. Thank you for saying Jordan Lewis. Now, did you hear his case?
Yes, I'm a Michigan fan. I know all about Jordan Lewis.
Now, here's a pillow fight. This girl, again, he took it to trial. This is when you go to trial, you're saying a person who know he did something wrong will not want to go to trial. When you know you didn't do nothing wrong, fuck it, I'm going.
Nah,
I could just say OJ and just completely offset that whole argument.
Well, depending on the circumstances, you're right. Depending on the circumstances, you're right.
But yeah, I get where you're coming from. If you're lying, you're not going to want to.
But here's the thing, though. He went to trial and they gave him his innocence. Leaving the courtroom, he looked at her, tapping the hands, has got, boom, he moves on, whatever. And now a person like him, there was stories saying that the female and him kept on arguing 24/7. Listen, when you in those situations, each other's face. If a man keeps touching you or he's angry at you and you sense where you're gonna be scared, you need to leave. I don't care how much of his company is. You need to leave. Vice versa with the female, because this could lead you in trouble. Now Jordan Lewis came out good. Now he's with the Dallas Cowboys, but this thing is not made up. Domestic violence, you got a lot of victims out there, but you also got people who lie, who cry wolf when nothing's going on, all because they want to get something out of it. And it's a shame. It really is a shame.
And most of the time, they do get reprimanded. Those ones that are lying, they get found, and they get
and I think you should get put in the computer, just like a what you call that? It's like a pedophile. When you have a case where you just
sex offender registry,
yeah, you're in the system. You should be in a system that you have a history of lying about domestic violence.
Harassment.
My thing is this. My thing is this. An injury is an injury. If you get hit, you want to see medical. You want to call the police, and then you want to sit back and then go back into watching TV. No, go through the whole thing. You're important. Yeah. You're somebody's daughter, somebody's mother. You understand? That's your life. I just can't buy. The Ezekiel Elliott situation, I can't just abide that the NFL just look past the medical, they look past everything. To me, we're gonna set you as an example to tell all the young players coming out X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, damn, Pac-Man Jones didn't get banished. And he didn't he spit out an officer's face on video? Face on video?
Yeah.
I mean, my God. I mean, wait a minute. I mean, let's keep it real. I didn't hear the word banishment. How was the night? Did you sleep over? Okay, we'll give you 1 year suspension. If you're gonna set the tone, be consistent across the board. Don't pick and choose who gets the worse or the better. I think. Listen, here's the thing: hitting on a female, beating on a female, you should be out of here. You should be out of here. Really in the street, you should be out of here. But my whole thing is this, NFL, you can't just say, well, they said you did it. We have no proof. There's no video. My God, we got all people got iPhones now, Androids. So if it's their word against yours.
All right, fellas, we're at the 2-minute warning here. Any of you fellas want to get in like a last word on this topic before we get going here?
I just want to ask the record.
What do you say?
The records of the game, because the 6 games that he's gonna miss, he's not missing 6 weeks. 6 games. Week 1 Giants, week 2 Denver.
Yeah, quick question before we do get off here.
Yeah.
What's your new record prediction for the Cowboys if he gets the 4 or the 6-game suspension? I want your 100% unbiased prediction if Zeke is missing 4 or 6 games.
100%, Tim. 100.
Nothing less.
I think
the Cowboys are gonna give nothing less but 100. I mean, less than 100, obviously, attendance wise, but you know.
I think 9-7.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
What about the first 6 weeks, though? If he did catch the full 6, what's your record in the first 6 weeks?
Well, all right. Well, he got week 1 Giants, week 2 Denver, week 3 Cardinals, week 4 Rams, week 5 Packers, and week 7 the 49ers. I can say between a 4-2 or 3-3.
4-2. That's confident. Well, I think I'm gonna have to clip mark this freaking video. All right.
3-3. I see. Either or.
Without Zeke, McFadden is not the same type of runner, Tim.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Here's the thing. This is gonna tell me a lot about. It's gonna tell me about 2 things about the Cowboys: how good Rain Dakota is.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, how fast can that defense catch up?
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
I agree. Listen, I think this. Giants, you can have Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith, the greats. Still hard to run against that Giant defensive line, even with Zeke playing. I think the Cowboys can get by the Giants without Zeke only because running the football is not anybody's strength against the Giants. The Giants got a good line. I think you got to keep them more balanced, doing a lot of things like using Switzer and Beasley, slot, keep those. You have to play the Giants. Running the football wasn't our greatest thing against the Giants that much last year. I mean, even though we lost 2 games to combine on 4 points. But running the football wasn't it. Passing the ball was it. So I think Dak Prescott, like Della was saying, will have to show up. Now you go up against Denver Broncos defense, the same thing with the Giants. Now the Cardinals, pretty much the same thing. Now with the Rams, Packers, and 49ers, those are the games where you're going to need a running game because they don't got really that much of a top defense. The Rams got a brand new 3-4 defense, first year under it. The 49ers 3-4 defense, they're young. And the Packers has no defense. I'm sorry. So those are the last 3 games you're going to need to run the football. The first 3, you got to pass that ball. And I think this is, like Dulles said, Dak Prescott really got to show his game.
Yes, I think that going back to those last 3. Look, I'm not high on LA, even though they traded for Sammy Watkins. I still think they'll be bad come week whatever you play them. Mm-hmm. They're moving to a 3-4. San Francisco is actually moving to a 4-3.
Right.
Little easier transition, but they're a crap show. They're not going to beat Dallas. And the Green Bay Packers, I think that could be a shootout. Aaron Rodgers will throw for a lot on that defense. However, their defense isn't great. So I think, you could get some work against their defense. Let's see. I think Dallas could start off. I think they'll go 3-3.
That's what I'm thinking too as well.
I think if Zeke sits out the 6, it'll be 3-3. I could see 2-4. I can't see 1-5. I can't see 0-6. I don't see them losing to San Francisco, certainly. It's unfathomable. Can't see them losing to the LA Rams. I really have a hard time thinking that they lose to Denver.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though for sure. So we'll see if that 6 game
only because of Denver's deficiencies on offense. I just don't see. I think Dallas still is too good on offense for a lot of teams. Even without Zeke, they're still too good.
All right, so yeah, we'll see if the 6 games holds up.
I know one thing: Des Bryant better not be hurt those 6 weeks.
We'll see if it goes to 4. But all we know is football is getting closer. Football Fury signing out here, folks. Thanks for tuning in. It was a blast getting this special, and we'll be back Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in, knuckleheads.
No doubt. No doubt.
United, baby.
Put that towel down, Tim. We're going offline. It's disgusting.